on Wuzurike, 6th in the Commonwealth Games in 22. Zarnell Hughes, the silver medalist on that day, man who lives and trains in Kingston, Jamaica, but belongs to Shaftesbury Bonnet Harriers, North London club. James Dadsey of Ghana goes in lane 4, good lane draw for him. 20.3 this year. He's a 1979 form at his best. Chris Taylor goes for Jamaica in 3, 6th in the Olympic Games in Tokyo back in 1991. Curon Griffith of Barbados goes in lane 2. Semi-finalist in the 100 here. Wanye Bell of the British Virgin Islands goes on the inside. World Junior Championship 100 metre performer back in 2022. He was a semi-finalist at the NCAA Championship a few weeks back in Eugene, Oregon, in the USA. On the Nigerian, on Wuzurike, 20.18 this year. Hughes inside him, Zarnell Hughes goes in lane 5. And Hughes is the British record holder with 19.73. That was 3 years ago now. Very consistent, Zarnell Hughes.
Wow. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for tuning in. Today we are looking at 2026 Commonwealth Games men's 200 meters semi-final, where Jamaica faces a huge challenge from other countries. We have competitors who are very close with what Jamaica they believe it is for their own. So, stay to this channel so that you may enjoy the fun, speed, drama, close finishes, and the major warning for everyone heading into the final. Thank you, and I'll be coming back with more reaction and commentary. Remember to like, subscribe, and share.
Nice conditions in the arena. Still, of course, a breeze. Should be behind them down the home straight. Now, let's have a look at those reaction times. Can't actually see that anybody broke the rules there. It set off early. Looking at their reaction times, I think maybe that was a faulty start. The camera focusing on Orotile there on the outside. Have a look at it again. Did you spot anything there, Danny?
It does look like Orotile, doesn't it? Just gets the jump on them and on the gun. Very, very fractionally, but we'll wait to see what the officials come back with.
Well, the readout doesn't indicate that he full started, so I don't think he did. He might have got a great start, but that's might be a shame for him if he did get a superb start. He was the quickest away, although the reaction time only tells half the story. Yep, thought so. Green card, just a faulty start. Nobody having the finger pointed at them. So for the second time of asking then, they have to settle into their blocks very shortly for this first semi-final of 3 in the men's 200 metres. They ran their heats yesterday morning, many of them competing in the 100s on Tuesday evening. They've had 24 hours indeed, more like 30 hours plus to prepare for this. Bell of the British Virgin Islands goes in 1. Griffith of Barbados in 2, Taylor of Jamaica 3, James Dadsey of Ghana in 4, Zarnell Hughes of England in 5, the silver medalist 4 years ago, and Wuzurike of Nigeria in 6, Murphy in 7, Orotile on the outside in 8. This time they get away. Really good running there in lane 4 from James Dadsey. A little slow to get into his running. Zarnell Hughes there in the red and white of England has got some work to do here. Also really great from Chris Taylor in lane 3 there for Jamaica. Zarnell Hughes to really pour it on here. He's going to get run right out of this one. Remember, it's only the first 2 who are going through by right. And that is it. First 2 plus 2 non-automatic qualifiers from the 3 semis. And that winning time, 20.20. And I do wonder if fresh legs are counting for a lot here in Scotland today. Well, it's been given to Chris Taylor, 20.20 from lane 3. He started wonderfully. He ran 20.36 for second in his heat yesterday. He's just run 20.20. The win plus 3.5 behind them. It's way over the limit. The other qualifier on Wuzurike of Nigeria. Great run from him, 20.22, really tight at the line. And then Oratile on the outside, the youngster, third with 20.47, and James Dadsey of Ghana, the other man in the non-automatic qualifying positions at the moment with 20.52 in fourth.
Christopher Taylor coming out of lane 3 gets an absolutely blistering start and runs a beautiful bend as he transitions into the home straight. On Wazariki out there in lane 6. Just positions himself beautifully as he comes into the home straight. But Zarnell Hughes was found wanting then. He was just going backwards in the home straight. He just didn't seem to get into the race, did he, Tim? From the moment the gun went, he just couldn't get on the tail of on Wazarike.
No, he got a poor start. Christopher Taylor would have been in his field of vision very quickly because the Jamaican just inside him to his left got away so quickly. Dadsey was quick too. And very Zarnell Hughes like 6th place there, 20.67. He's run almost a second quicker than that. He's run about 8 meters quicker than that, albeit 3 years ago. Well, there's the fellas in the hot seats. Oratile and Dadsey for Botswana and Ghana, respectively. And a confirmation of Chris Taylor's win there with a strong win behind him, 20.22, just ahead of Wazarike from Nigeria.
Scott Lincoln stepping up for round 1. And then shot put. He's the bronze medalist last time out in Birmingham. Big move. Last year left his base in York to go to Australia in the quest of consistency and more medals. He's just the shot bounced up towards 21 metres here. Where did it land? Just short, but not too far short of 21 metres. The lead is with Tom Walsh, 21 metres and 3 centimetres, which Walsh himself, 2-time champion, will know he's got to improve on if he wants to get his 3rd consecutive gold. Lincoln, 20 metres 70. That's enough for 2nd place at the moment for the Englishman. Takes us to the 2nd Indian in the field, Rajindapal Singh Tor. The Indian #1 Asian record holder. Could be looking at our 3rd man over 20 metres here in Tor. I love the way these guys rotate so fast, and particularly when it gets faster with every rotation, and Tor building that momentum from the back of the circle.
Well, we're 1 200 metre semi down, 2 to come. Tor there 20.06. That's not a bad open up at all. He's got a bit of improvement to do yet if he wants to stay amongst the medals, I fancy.
2nd semi-final, the men's 200. You can see the athletes in the outer 4 lanes. They were all given a bye here. Well, that's not... I think one of the athletes says we've had a late replacement with Jackson Clark, so that graphic not totally right. But Caleb Law of Australia goes here in lane 8. He got a bye thanks to a brilliant 20.21 that he ran over at the start of the season. But Jackson Clark of Guyana, he would have thought he missed out on this by 100th, but he's replaced Israel Okun, the Nigerian athlete, not starting here. Muthinkulo of South Africa will go in 6th, new lifetime best of 2011 the other day. Prince Selepe of Botswana in 5, silver at the African Championships, and then 20.01 at the Doha Diamond League. Javon Powell of Jamaica, regular in their 4x4 squad. Joseph Amoa of Ghana will go in lane 3, 9.92 this year. He looked very good winning his heat yesterday. Nganga Gora from Gabon goes in lane 2, African finalist this year. And the final athlete in lane 1, Animesh Kujor of India, their national record holder, 20.32. He won his heat, the Indian did yesterday, in a season's best. So 5 out of the 8 of the athletes here did run yesterday. Got a feel for the track, and then we've got fresh legs with the likes of Caleb Law, Muthinkulu and Selepe. They settle into their blocks. Reminder, it's first 2 across the line automatically. Chris Taylor And Omuzariki running very well in the previous race, down to 20.2 seconds with a strong following wind. The very first time here in the second semi-final. Lots of talented athletes. One's fastest on paper on the outside here, but it's the Jamaican Javon Powell that's moving well in the middle of the field. Joseph Amoa going with him. Amoa looked very good winning his heat yesterday. He's going to come under pressure here in the last 50 metres. The Guyanan holding strong just to the line. Being credited with 20.24 and a 2.0 following win. That would equal his season's best. And it just looked a little bit a bit casual in the last 10 metres from Joseph Amoa. It was similar yesterday, wasn't it? And they ran a very good 180 and then decided that was probably going to be enough, but Javon Powell didn't give up till the end with only 2 spots available for the final automatically, and the Jamaican was chasing as well. He had to run every inch of the track he had available to him.
Yeah, the Ghana athlete Joseph Amoa, as you rightly said, Hannah, he ran a magnificent bend. And he was just easing down into the end. But just coming through really, really strong was Powell and Salipe. They were driving all the way to the finish. He just shut down a little bit too early for me. That was a little bit too relaxed as they come off the bend. Amoa just comes into the home straight from lane 3, just ahead of the rest of the field. And at this point, he just starts to step off the gas a little bit. And you can see Salipe and Powell just coming through to his right-hand side, our left, as we look at him.
Well, it was a furious dip to the line from Javon Powell, opposed to Joseph Amoa's slightly chilled. I mean, he's working hard. I don't think he's shut it down, but he just didn't dip. And that's a big part of sprinting.
He just cruised through, didn't he?
And I'll tell you what, I can see on the computer system here that Joseph Amoa, the Ghanaian here on the right-hand side of the screen, has been given the win, but by 2 1/1000ths. That will give him a great lane draw when we look towards the final. But it was almost a different story. This has been the fastest race so far in terms of the depth. We saw Prince Salepe and Muthan Kula replace the fastest athletes from the previous heat. They are the 2 time qualifiers at the moment on 20:31 and 20:39. Look at that. I love that from Javon Powell. You've got to look out for him when we go to the final. He's a big part of the Jamaican 4x4 squad, and I think that strength over the longest of the sprints showing at the end of the 200.
He'll be happy he just got away with that one.
Confirmed result of semi-final 2. Joseph Amoa by 2 1/1000ths gets the win from Javon Powell. They're the automatic qualifiers. 1 semi-final left to go.
So, Chukwuebuka and Okwechi steps into the circle. Then round 2, the Nigerian silver medalist back in 2018, 4th 4 years ago in this shot put final. That's a nice second heave. He opened with 19 metres 60. He's capable of so much more. He is a 22-metre thrower. Indeed, he's been in great form, around 21.5 metres in his last half dozen or so shot put competitions. So he knows something big is in there. He really is in the competitive groove, so to speak. 5th in the World Championships last year, and that's a nice second heave from Okwechi. 20 metres 48, puts him up into 3rd place. So semi-final 3 then. Emmanuel Aseme, the winner of the 100 metres 2 nights ago in 9.83. He goes in lane 1. And right on the outside, well, the silver medalist in that 100 metres, the Australian, Lachlan Kennedy, 9.85. He ran for an Australian record. He was 2nd in the world indoors last year, the Australian champion at 100 this year. He will start fast. Can he hold them off? In lane 7 there, inside him, Dumbile of South Africa, 8th in the world championships last year. Aaron Brown goes in 6th for Canada, semi-finalist last year, Canadian champion. There's Mustafa Bopin from Ghana. fourth in the NCAA's 200. That's not to be sniffed at. Rashawn Clark of Jamaica goes in lane 4. Third in the Jamaican Championships. Jaleel Kroll of British Virgin Islands won his heat yesterday in 20.53. Very close to his season's best. Zablon Kwam. He was second in the 200 heat yesterday in 20.73. That was yesterday morning, when I think he was entitled to feel a little bit tired and maybe a little bit stiff and sore after the 100 late the previous evening. It was far from ideal having to race before midday yesterday, having won the 100. He was fifth at the World Indoors back in Torun in March. So the gold and silver medalists in the 100 2 nights ago, bookending this field. Semi of Cameroon, the champion in 1. Kennedy, the silver medalist in the 100, goes on the outside in lane 8. Really tight bend for Semi to try and negotiate their topper picture in the red in lane 1. He's gone off pretty well though, has Lachlan Kennedy on the outside, also going really well. Inside him is the South African Dambile. Dambile possibly leading into the straight now, but it's going to be really tight. Watch Semi on the inside there, but look at the way they're pulling away now. Dambile and the Canadian inside him. Brown taking 1 and 2 there. 19.82 and the win just over the legal limit. 2.3. Dambile. Oh, what a shame. What a shame that it was just over that legal limit. Dear oh dear. It was very, very quick indeed. That second semi-final, 20.24. In the second semi-final, we'll have to look at the non-automatic qualifier positions. Dambile 1982, Brown 1990, Kennedy and Aseme. Well, Aseme doesn't go through. He misses out by 1/100th of a second. Kennedy, 2012, will go through, the quickest of the non-automatic qualifiers, along with Prince Selepe of Botswana, who was third in the second semi-final. 2031 he ran. So Aseme unable to go for the double.
Dembele was up on Lachlan Kennedy as they come out of the stagger. But just look on the inside, the Canadian, Aaron Brown, the 34-year-old, just powering through and following Dembele all the way through. Unfortunately, we lost Roshan Clark as well during that race. He pulled up. But Dembele looked superior there, didn't he? He looked so relaxed as he comes into the home straight.
Yeah, the South Africans in really good form, and when you think they are Southern Hemisphere athletes like so many of the others, the Aussies and the Kiwis, they've had their own Southern Hemisphere season back in what is obviously the Northern Hemisphere winter, but they are peaking brilliantly, so many of the South Africans and the Australians for these championships. There it is, 19.82 and 9.90, just over the legal limit, the wind at plus 2.3. Lachlan Kennedy goes through with that 20.12. He recovering a little bit better perhaps than Aseme, although he was in lane 8, which is a big advantage with those gentle sweeping bends. Aseme quite the opposite in lane 1 in that third semi-final.
Real shot there, seeing Emmanuel Aseme exit. It was so brilliant in that one.
Wow. Welcome back to the channel. I believe you have already subscribed, liked and shared. Now, the first semi-final, Christopher Taylor delivered. This Jamaica's Christopher Taylor, who immediately showed why he is considered one of the athletes capable of making a serious impact in this competition. Taylor crossed the finish line in 20.20 seconds, securing the victory and, most importantly, his place in the final. What stood out was not simply the time, but the control he demonstrated throughout the race. In a championship environment, athletes don't always need to run their absolute fastest time in the semi-final. The priority is often to execute the race properly, conserve energy, and make sure there is no mistake that could end the competition prematurely. Taylor prepared to do exactly that. His performance gave Jamaica an important boost heading into the final. But the following semi-finals would reveal how just difficult the challenge was going to become. The second semi-final was an incredibly close finish, whereby we produced one of the most dramatic moments of the night. Ghana's Joseph Amoah and Jamaica's Javan Pearl battled right down to the finish line. The margin separating them was unbelievably small, just 0.02 of a second. Amoah ultimately caught the advantage, while Pearl was left fighting for his position. This was a perfect example of how brutal championship sprinting can be. At this level, athletes can spend years preparing for a major competition, only for the difference between advancing and falling short to come down to an almost microscopic margin. For Jamaica, the result was a reminder that reputation alone is not enough. Every start matters, every step matters, and when the field is this competitive, there is absolutely no room for hesitation. Now, the third semi-final, which featured South Africa, sends a warning. Then came the third semi-final, and this is where the entire picture changed. South African Deno produced a stunning performance, stopping the clock at 19.82 seconds. That was a major statement, but he was not alone. Canada's Aaron Brown also broke the 20 seconds barrier, finishing in an impressive 19.90 seconds. Certainly, the competition looked completely different. Two athletes had gone under 20 seconds in the semi-final, proving that the final would not simply be a battle between traditional sprinting powers. South Africa had announced itself, Canada had announced itself, and Jamaica now had to take notice. The final, a high-pressure chase, was matched. And this brings us to the biggest storyline heading into the final. Jamaica still has the sprinting pedigree, the experience, and athletes capable of producing something special. But the performances from the final semi-final have raised the stakes dramatically. A time of 19.82 seconds changes the psychology of a race. The athletes know that they cannot afford to relax. The final could become what the commentator described as a chess match. A race where every athlete is looking at the competition around them while trying to execute their own race perfectly. For Christopher Taylor, the challenge will be turn his controlled semi-final performance into a stronger performance when the medals are on the line. For Jamaica, the pressure will be enormous. For South Africa, the momentum is growing, and for Canada, Aaron Brown's 19.90 has placed him firmly in the conversation. So, 2026 Commonwealth Games men's 200 meters final is now shaping up to be one of the most exciting sprint battles of the competition. Christopher Taylor has shown that Jamaica is still very much in the fight. Joseph Amoah demonstrated Ghana's competitiveness. Javon Pearl experienced just how unforgiving championship sprinting can be. And South Africa's Deno, together with Canada's Aaron Brown, completely changed the expectation with spectacular sub-20 seconds performance. Now, everything comes down to one race, one start, one bend, one straight away, and one finish line. Jamaica has the pedigree, but the challengers have the speed. The question is, who will handle the pressure when the medals are finally on the line? So, if you enjoyed this breakdown, kindly please don't forget to like, subscribe, and share the video with your friends and family. Thank you for your time, and I'll be coming back with more videos. Continue tuning in. Thank you for your time. Have a nice day.